Mitch! You promised! We have to review it! We have to review Ant-Man and the Wasp! Quantumania!
So, what's it gonna be? Podcaster.
Hi, friends! I'm Zach.
I'm Mitch.
And we are an excellent little podcast.
Presenting you a little movie podcast starring Zach and Mitch.
Mitch, I think we're doing a podcast.
I think we are doing a podcast where I think we're also doing it in a very different spot.
Yeah, I think we're in the quantum realm now.
Quantum realm? No, we're reviewing at my place.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We're just kind of trying out a couple of new things. Mitch's place does offer us more space, as you can see.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to figure out things right now. But
Absolutely.
But yeah, like you said, we're reviewing Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yeah, studio brought to you by Marvel Studios and Walt Disney Pictures.
Which
so
means
we are Disney cast members. Therefore, we do not speak for the brand or the company, and our thoughts and opinions are our own.
yeah, especially in turbulent times like this, right?
Not going to go there. Directed by Peyton Reed, screenplay Jeff Loveness, and characters created by Jack Kirby. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. Peyton Reed, great directing style in this film. Jeff Loveness, Zach?
Yeah, the script is definitely the sore one out in here. There's a lot that can be said. There are good things to it. I'm not gonna lie. There are good moments, but it's a lot sore on this one.
Yeah.
And Mitch, you brought up a good point as we were leaving the theater. This scriptwriter, Jeff Loveness, is the one that has been tapped to write at least one of the treatments of Kang Dynasty. Whether or not his draft is the final one or not, it remains to be seen. Mm-hmm. But as now, he is the one tapped to write it.
Yeah. He's got Marvel and Disney's going to have to give him some notes.
Yeah. But again, I kind of did see a couple of good things that came out of that script. So I'm hesitant now, but still kind of optimistic.
But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
So, brief summary. Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne, along with Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne, explore the quantum realm, where they interact with strange creatures and embark on an adventure that goes beyond the limits of what they thought was possible. Thank you, IMDb.
Thank
All
you,
right.
IMDb.
So, we're not going to waste any time because it's late. We just got out of the theater.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yep.
So, Zach, your first thoughts.
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. A lot of Ant-Man, not a lot of Wasp. Mm-hmm. Definitely some Quantumania shenanigans going on. Mm-hmm. My biggest things coming out of this thing is what I feel like a lot of people are saying. Kang has arrived. Mm-hmm. Jonathan Majors really has, without going into his performance or anything, has really stolen the show for the MCU. I am really positive with what that character is doing, where they're taking him so far. Mm-hmm. And I know that we'll see more of him as we kind of go along. But overall, I thought the movie had a lot of ups, but a lot of downs as well.
Yeah.
What are your first thoughts, Mitch, on this?
This is the start of Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's not a good start. There were a few highs. Cast performances were very good. CGI was one of the best I've seen from a Marvel film in a very long time.
Yeah.
Peyton Reed was a perfect director for this film. Mm-hmm. Jonathan Majors, you hit the nail right on the head. Beautifully done, without going any further into his performance.
Yeah.
Just the script. The script is not great. And we will talk about that later. It's just, for it being the start of a Phase 5, we're not off to a good start.
Gotcha.
So,
well, we've been mentioning cast performances specifically, kind of our man of the hour, but we won't get to him just yet because we have someone very important to talk about. Our
Paul Rudd,
our
Scott Lang, Ant-Man,
our small star that we do love and adore.
Of course.
What did you think of Paul Rudd?
He did great. Yeah. I mean, it's Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd, even as he gets older, he gets better looking. He's so funny, and a lot of the script catered to his comedic style. But I just felt like he should have been I feel like there was some dramatic moments that were in the film that were necessary, but
Yeah.
I kind of wanted a little bit more from him.
Okay.
But it wasn't his fault. I think it was just a script.
Sure.
But what'd you think of Paul Rudd?
We got a lot more emotional Paul Rudd in this. We got to see a really different side of Scott Lang, which I really loved. Because usually you see Scott deflecting like really negative moments with like a quip or something. There were some times where he actually kind of was actually like really torn up and was actually like really like, okay, I realize the severity of this situation and this is what's important to me, so I need to get this done, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Which was really actually nice to see from Paul Rudd. Actually,
But now
very much enjoyed that.
we are here to talk about Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror.
The Conqueror has arrived.
Not He Who Remains.
Not He Who Remains.
It is Kang the Conqueror. Bravo.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. Bravo. He's the next big bad. He is. And there's nothing anybody can say or do about it. He is. They set him up in this film to be bigger than Thanos.
Yeah. They really did. I will say you really get a sense of Kang's power in this film. It's really amazing how they chose to really let Kang loose on as small time of a character as Ant-Man. And you really kind of do feel the helplessness, because I feel like introducing someone like Kang, like genuine Kang, not He Who Remains, but genuine Kang, to like a Thor or an Iron Man or someone that could possibly go toe-to-toe with him.
But against Ant-Man.
Who is kind of more of like the Us kind of person.
Yeah.
Doesn't really have superpowers, but what he does is very kind of small.
And heisty.
So like Scott Lang is more the everyday man, so we kind of get to see Kang through his eyes, and AKA through our eyes, and it's really helpless. So I'm really excited to see. One thing that I will say that I am hoping for that we kind of get, all of the great MCU villains like Loki and like Thanos, they all have a emotional thread to them. We didn't really get to see as much of an emotional thread for Kang on this one. But they hinted at it, and I know it's coming. And I think that also comes with we also have to kind of see the Fantastic Four, I think, a little bit, just to get that emotional
Before
thread.
you get ahead of yourself.
I know, but that's one thing that I do need from the character, not from Jonathan Majors, but from the character is more of emotional thread. Why is he so into him controlling everyking and being the conqueror?
So before Zach ruins the rest of Marvel,
that was gonna be it.
Catherine Newton as Cassie Lang, she was good. I
was
really
good.
enjoyed her. She had this great balance of like this kid-friendly kind of person, but to actually someone like, oh, I wouldn't mess with her. But yeah, she brought that nice little balance of comedic and dramatic tone that was really necessary for this film. And really, it was a good addition to the Ant-Man franchise.
Sure.
Yeah, but what'd you think?
I agree. She was the one that I was a little skeptical kind of coming into this movie with, because she's the most unknown, but she, to me, hit it out of the park. She is literally, especially since this is a recasting.
Right.
She wasn't Cassie in
One or
in
two.
Endgame.
Endgame.
So she had a lot coming up to the plate, but she proved herself well, and I totally buy her as Scott's kid.
Yeah.
All the choices that she makes, everything that she makes sense as a character and as her choices, I love that about her.
Yeah. So there's our cast.
Yeah.
So now it's time for the CGI. And like I mentioned before, this is the best CGI we've gotten from a Marvel film in a long time. I mean, whenever we step foot in the quantum realm in this film, it was believable. It was certainly a lot better than another Strange World.
Yeah, definitely.
I got to give a lot of props to the CGI cast members, I'm going to call them, and developers and everybody behind the scenes in making this quantum realm, because they delivered beautifully. So I got to, whoever worked on this film, real MVP.
Oh yeah.
What'd you think?
Well, especially since Marvel has had a lot of issues coming out lately about like how much they've been overworking their CGI artists and whatnot. It's really good to see when that hard work really pays off. So that really comes down to you guys. So thank you so much for delivering on that. I've been hearing a lot of comparisons to the look of this movie to kind of Star Warsian.
Yeah.
I totally see it.
I do too.
However, I have to actually applaud another aspect of it. They blended CGI, but a lot of practicality very well too. Like a lot of the creatures that you're going to see in the quantum realm were done practically as well, and those were really, really good. I felt that kind of helped set in the world a little bit more of having some practical species there as well, which was really, really cool to see.
So now let's talk about something that sucked. He's gagging.
I'm gagging, but
The script
comes
by
down to the
Jeff
script.
It was so. I think there were multiple times, like Zach, you mentioned, like as soon as the credits rolled, you looked at me, and there were a couple times in the movie where I was just like, and there were times where I think he and I looked at each other, and we both had like the, what?
Yeah.
You know what parts I'm talking
Oh
about.
yeah, but we can't get into that until we get to our spoilers.
Like, it's just, I just, you know what?
It's
difficult.
It is difficult, and it's just, to me, the script really was genuinely all over the place.
It was.
You would go here, then you would go there. You would jump to one conflict when you were just starting to get into another conflict.
And it got really sickening.
The jumping was really, really not that great. And the other thing, too, is that once the other plot starting to develop and started to get interesting, that's when it would jump.
Yeah.
So that was an issue. And then a really big issue that I feel like is really starting to hinder the MCU as a whole, it's comedy.
Yeah.
I have loved MCU comedy ever since it started with Iron Man. I think the quips have always been wonderful. They're starting to become too comedic now.
Yeah. They need to get back to you don't need to go dark.
No.
Just go back to like, hey, you're dealing with real big conflicts here.
Yeah.
You're not.
The stakes keep on getting higher,
and
so we're not
keep trying to be funny.
Yeah, it's really not helping.
No.
So it really, like, there were so many moments in this film,
like the stakes were high,
where the stakes were so high, and they were going, and then all of a sudden it's undercut with the joke, and you're like,
no,
the brakes are like hit, and
well,
you're
and
like,
it died. It really did. But yeah, before we get angry, it's time to review.
Let's review, my friend. All right, Mitch. I reviewed the last one first. How about you? What, Mitch Fesser, do you give Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania?
This is getting fed to the dog.
Ooh.
This is getting fed to the dog. This is the first Marvel film that I have fed to the dog since Thor: The Dark World. I'm going to say this to everybody. This is not... I think this is also a big pre-Bob Iger takeover. I think this film was a byproduct of a certain CEO before Iger. I think Kevin Feige was really pressured into making this film the way it was. So I feel bad for Kevin Feige. I feel bad for Peyton Reed. I feel bad for everybody involved in this film because this film had a really great setup. Great setup. But I just felt like the script was not the original draft. I think it wasn't reshot. I think it probably was, but I feel like the script was turned in, and they had it. It was ready, and then they're like, "Nah, let's add something else. This isn't what we're. You know what I'm talking about."
Yeah, I get you.
It's just Marvel Studios. You got to make better product right now. I know everyone's upset with the way Phase 4 was. I love Phase 4.
I love Phase 4.
Phase 5 is not off to a great start, but there's still time. It's the first film.
Yeah.
But this isn't a good start. Zach?
I think you are being a little bit too hard on it. I believe you are focusing a little bit too hard on.
Hey, it's my opinion.
It is your opinion, and your opinion is valid.
Yeah.
However,
don't discipline me.
I know, and I'm not. However, I do think you're being a little bit looking too hard into the negatives of the script, because to be honest, there really were ups and downs, but there were enough ups for me. It's definitely not an eat it up. However, to me, it's definitely not a feed it to the dog. It's a cook a little more. Because again, like how you said, the cast performances were there.
Oh yeah, so
The director was there. It just comes down to the script. Did it tell a story? Yes. Was I entertained? Yes. But was it a cohesive story? No. But it still hit 2 of the 3. So because it hit 2 of the 3, it still works to me as a script.
Well, it's
so
just like,
that's why for me, Zach Prewish, it's not a feed it to the dog. It's a cook a little.
and
more.
that's fine. But to you, my friends, to me, this is why it's just you cannot make a good movie out of a bad script. That's I will take that to the grave. No one's ever going to change. This is my
fair.
opinion.
And yeah, that's your opinion.
This
my
is
friend.
this is a bad script.
Yeah,
Can't
I'm
make
not. It's not a bad script. We've seen bad scripts, but
Morbius?
we've seen bad scripts.
But before we get into an argument, we're going to hit the spoiler section.
But before we do that, make sure you do give us a like and subscribe.
Hit that notification bell.
Hit that notification bell. Leave a comment or email us at elpodcastsmz@gmail.com. We always love to hear from you guys. And also, give a look to our neighbor, sister, little gaming stream, Twitch, that Mitch always hosts a lot.
Yeah. All right. So it's spoiler time.
Yeah.
What's the alarm?
What's the alarm?
Yeah.
Ah.
Da 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 da
Da da da da da da da da
da
dun 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 dun.
MODOK's in this.
MODOK. Okay.
Bad. So bad. The CGI actually, when I first saw the CGI, I was like, "Oh my god, this looks horrible."
Yeah.
But it started to grow on me a little bit.
It grows on you because the thing. Okay, the look of MODOK makes sense.
Yes, it
because it's the biggest uphill battle of anything to adapt MODOK from the comics to live action.
Yeah, it was.
That is the biggest, tallest order. I don't care for what kind of thing. That is the biggest order anyone has ever said is bring MODOK to live action.
And they did decently well.
They did decently well. I genuinely don't know how you could do it better.
Yeah, I can't either. I really can't. But the way that he's built, see, it's Darren from the first film.
Yeah, which to be honest, for him being crushed and everything, him looking not the best is a good explanation to why he looks terrible.
Yeah, you do see his butt too.
You do see it? You see a little Darren butt.
But I appreciated the way that they kind of, because everyone's like, oh, it's not the comics, but I appreciated it.
I appreciate that they put MODOK into the MCU.
Yes.
Now, this MODOK ain't MODOK.
Yeah, and at the end,
well,
the dick.
Well,
the
okay,
dick
we'll get to that. But like the thing is, the saving light that I will say is that MODOK is a organism. So in theory, and also there's the multiverse too. But in theory, this one MODOK doesn't have to be our only MODOK.
Right.
So the organism can move to another host. We can find another multiverse where a MODOK is different. But this particular MODOK, is a dick.
Yeah.
And I don't care what this movie says that he is or isn't. He is a dick. And
Cassie's like, and his like redemption
is the stupidest punchline ever.
Cassie is basically telling him to like, just don't be a dick. And he's like, but I'm a dick.
But that's what I am. I am a dick.
So don't be a dick. And then he like tries to stop Kang from doing something. He's like, I am not a dick. And then he dies. And he's like, I died an Avenger.
At least I'm an Avenger.
It's
they're like,
stupid.
Sure.
So stupid.
Yeah, they could have done so much better. And the thing was is that, so right after the movie, I was talking to Mitch about how the first 2 films had a really wonderful character through Michael Pena being Luis. And they focused a lot of the comedic aspects through Luis, which I think helped. And as I was driving back on the way, I realized they tried to do that with MODOK.
Yeah, Luis
And
is
it
not in this film.
failed because Darren was never about comedy.
No, not at all.
And that's why. I feel like if Michael Pena was in here, it might have actually felt like an Ant-Man movie.
All right, so at the end, Kang is...
2 post-credit scenes. Let's talk about kind of the first one.
So Kang is killed,
yeah.
as you kind of probably saw it coming. The first post-credit scene... Oh, yeah, so
But-
everyone survives. No
Yeah.
one dies.
Yeah.
Kang is killed. Everyone returns home.
Killed? Who
Killed.
knows?
So the first one is... It's a big stadium
Yep.
somewhere in the multiverse.
Yep.
And it's a lot of Kang variants.
Yeah.
Talking to each other about how, like... So the one that is exiled was killed,
Yep. But not by us.
but not by us.
So
It was
that
killed
means-
by them.
And then we're assuming them being the Avengers.
Yeah, they think it's the Avengers.
So we then see all the not all the variants.
A
because
lot of
that's
variants.
That's impossible because that's the point of King is that there's always a
Right.
variant out there.
Mhm.
But the thing is too, I'm very excited about it. You really got to see a lot of different sides of Jonathan Majors and Kang,
And,
which I really
like,
love,
little
and the
bits.
craziness of it, which is great. But also, killed, I feel, is a very strong word in the MCU.
Yeah.
Especially for how our lost King died, quote unquote,
Mhm.
because he was sucked into his like world engine thing.
Mm-hmm.
Might I bring us back to Captain America: The First Avenger, where Red Skull got sucked into a portal? We have not seen the last of this King.
No,
There is
I
no
agree.
way that we have seen the last of this King. I
Right.
think that is our Kang Prime
for Kang Dynasty.
for Kang Dynasty. I think he is our big bad King.
Mm-hmm.
But these Kangs are going to be a thorn in our side for a while.
Oh yeah, yeah. Pretty much this movie, it's a Kang Dynasty prequel.
Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
So the last post-credit scene, it's a Loki season 2 tease.
It is, and
It's nice.
If anyone was thinking, what was one of these post credit scenes going to be, it doesn't take a lot
Yeah.
to figure out that that's where one of them was going to be leading us to.
Right.
But it was really nice. I can't wait to see that this is what it's going to be. Is it's going to be Loki trying to convince Morbius that Kang is
bad.
and jumping from multiple realities to try and find Kangs. I think that is a really cool way to kind of go about it, and for us to really kind of see more of Kang as a character.
Yeah, basically what it is, it's Loki and Mobius are in a timeline back. It reminds me of like a 1920s feel.
Yeah, like almost like turn of the century, like turn of the 20th century.
And-
like electricity is just being like invented. Kind
And
of a thing.
Kang is trying to talk about time.
Yeah.
And he's giving a lecture, and Loki and Mobius are right there, and Loki's like, "Oh, it's him," and then it ends,
Yeah.
and it says Kang will return. That's our review.
Yeah, that's it, my friends. So once again, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We really do appreciate you watching. So if you can, give us a like, subscribe if you haven't.
Hit that notification bell. Follow our other stuff, like my Twitch, our TikTok. We got a lot of stuff coming for you. But until next time,
I'm Zach,
I'm Mitch.
and we are
An
an excellent little podcast.